What's up, Buckyballers? Cytron here. I hope you're all doing well. Today I want to talk about positioning and rotations to help you to become a better player. First of all, I want to explain the two most effective ways of playing in general and how players usually position themselves in each playstyle. The playstyle varies a bit depending on the character you pick and your team composition. But after spending hundreds of hours in the game, it became clear to me that the following two ways are the most effective. The first option would be the cherry picker comp. Cherry picking means you have one forward who focuses purely on scoring goals and barely rotates back, while the defensive midfielder plays mainly inside their own 2-point line and the midfield, trying to intercept passes, get the ball to the forward and assist the goalkeeper in defense. The other option would be a more rotational playstyle, where both outfield players play offense and defense simultaneously, while the goalkeeper helps to initiate plays. So let's take a closer look at the cherry pick comp first and break it down. Beginning with the forward role, you want to play a character that has strong scoring and outplay potential in 1v1 and 2v1 situations. And the character needs to be agile to secure as many loose balls as possible. The best characters for that role are Pi, Blade, Murphy and Samba. As the midfielder, you want to pick a character that has strong defensive abilities, allowing you to intercept passes, steal the ball, or put enough pressure on the enemy team so they can't even set up a play properly. So basically, you just want to get the ball to your forward in any way possible. Good picks for that role are Lang, Kenny, Lydia, Sky or Pink. Situationally, characters from the goalkeeper section can work surprisingly well as well. For the goalkeeper role, you want to pick something that can handle high pressure moments, as it's very likely to be in a lot of 2v2 situations. Ultimately, you want to get the ball to your forward in any way possible, similar to how the midfielder plays. While you still need teamwork in the cherry picker comp, it is more focused on the strength of each individual player, but at the end it all boils down to whether your forward can score more goals than your goalkeeper lets in. Alright, with the explanation out of the way, let's look at some examples. In this comp we have a Murphy in the striking position, Kenny as the defensive midfielder and Gridiron as our goalkeeper. In this scenario, Gridiron and Kenny gets attacked by the opponents and see themselves in a 2v2 situation. Depending on the matchup, you should think about which character of the opponent's team has the best scoring potential. As the red team is working his way up the field, the midfielder has a couple of different ways how he can approach this. Kenny slowly attacks the enemy Lydia with the ball. Since Lydia alone has not great scoring potential, it's likely that she's going to pass. So Kenny tries to bait out a pass and intercept it, which can be followed up by immediately passing up the forward, giving him a free 1v1. So let's look at a similar scenario that could happen in-game. In this clip, Kenny plays defensive midfield while our forward puts some pressure on the enemy goalkeeper. Right here we have to think about what can the enemy Lang do with the ball in this situation. We know our Murphy just pushed the enemy forward, so a back pass might not be the best option for the enemy team. Another option could be that Lang downslides either on the sideline or more in the midfield. A third option could be a direct pass or a number pass to the Pi. The options that we have in this scenario is either go for the challenge, but we are very likely to lose that since Lang can triple jump on the wall and just has the height advantage. If Lang decides to downslide, I still have enough space to be able to block any type of shot attempts. In this situation though, I predicted the pass, so I already positioned myself in the path of the pass. Using the strong magnet on Kenny's updraft, intercepting the pass and immediately putting it to my forward, who then has a free 1v1 situation. Another option could be that Kenny plays man coverage on the enemy Blade to interrupt any direct follow-up after a pass. If the Lydia decides to walk up and goes for a direct shot, it should be easily blocked with a shockwave. Depending on where the ball gets redirected, the forward can decide to either challenge the ball or reposition in a way so he's open for potential pass. Let's assume the ball gets redirected to the opposite side and Kenny finds himself in a sandwich situation and isn't able to get the ball to Murphy due to Lydia's beam covering the way. Gridiron can now advance out of the net to create an opportunity for a counterplay. With Kenny backpassing and Murphy simultaneously repositioning, enables our team to immediately go for a counterplay. In this clip we find ourselves in a similar situation as in the example. Our Lang is getting sandwiched, so he decides to number pass back to our goalkeeper, who just grabbed the corner energy pad. R47 then follows up with a fast pass, which gives us a good 1v1 because the enemy couldn't rotate back in time. Alright, let's look at a different example. In the next scenario we find our team scrambling over the ball in the opponent's corner. Since we can't ensure who comes out on top, it's crucial for the midfielder to be the last man on the line. While this is technically a 2v3 situation, we find ourselves in a slight disadvantage. If we're not patient and allow the blade to get behind our line, we allow the enemy team for a potential counterplay. So it's very important to play our man in this situation. Let's say after a bit of scrambling, our Murphy comes out on top, but without any stamina to make a play happen, he decides to pass back entirely. Since our goalkeeper has a lot of space, we can take the time to reposition and regain back utility, which allows us to set up a default play on the wall, for example. Those were just a couple of examples of general positioning. There are many more scenarios we could talk about, for example how we can play around item spawns, but let's save that for a different video. Anyway, I hope those examples could give you a better understanding of overall positioning and rotations of the cherry picker comp. So now let's talk about the rotational playstyle. Here both outfield players play offense and defense at the same time. This composition is heavily focused on passing among all three players of the team. You want to work your way up the field slowly with passing, while simultaneously pushing the defenders back more and more. You can set up defaults on the wall where the goalkeeper is the initiating passer. Aerial gameplay is also very useful, especially if the player close to the goal gets head jumps. You want to bait out the goalkeeper's utility by faking shots and baiting opponents into positions that make them vulnerable to certain angles. On defense, most of the time each player has one opponent that gets covered. It's crucial to not ball chase here and play man coverage so you don't overcommit and leave one opponent fully open. You want to focus on intercepting passes in the midfield and involving your goalkeeper as an option for a safe pass. If you push back into your own 2-point line, passing is very important to create space again, to get at least one player up the field to initiate a new offense attempt. As the goalkeeper, you want to follow up slowly depending on how far your team already has pushed forward, so you can deliver passes closer to the goal. You also need to bait the enemy forward into challenging you, so you can give your outfielders a 2v2 situation. The best picks for this playstyle are characters that are equally good at scoring as well as defending in the midfield. A good combination here, for example, is Pi and Blade or Pi and Lang, but team compositions that are a little bit more shifted in both directions also work really well. For example, Blade and Aerial. While in this example the scoring part lies more on Blade and Aerial functions as a support. For the goalkeeper, you want to pick a character that either is really good at passing, for example Haley, or for 7 is also a really good choice since he can pressure the opponent's net with his ultimate, which allows for more combo plays. Characters like Gridiron or K1D don't really work that well since they function more as shot blockers. Okay, let's look at an example. We have Pi and Blade as our outfielders with R47 in the goal. Blade tries to get a pass to our Pi, but the opponent Pi reads that play and went in for a challenge. The ball gets redirected towards our goalkeeper and the enemy Pi follows up and pressures him. Lang also walks up to limit our passing options here. In such scenarios, it's important that the outfielders reposition in a way that allows our goalkeeper for a safe pass. Since Blade is the only one not covered here, it's the smartest option to pass to him. Blade now walks up the field and tries to set up a play. As the Blade, we have a couple of options on how we can approach this. We could either go for solo play or wait for our Pi to get in position and make a pass play. As the Blade, we decide that we want to bait the enemy goalkeeper by faking a shot, luring him into a close corner and afterwards passing to a teammate. If we can manage to bait the goalkeeper successfully, usually the opposite side of the goal is completely open. Okay, let's look at some similar clips here as well. In this clip, Blade upslashes on the wall to get high ground and buy some time for the Pi to get ready in the midfield. After the dash are 4 jumps, which is the perfect time for us to make a pass play. On top, I cancel Blade's downslash with a number pass to force the enemy goalkeeper to charge up his punch or use any other abilities that would potentially stop the ball. Due to the goalkeeper being stuck in the punch animation, gives our Pi enough time to put it into the far corner. Alright, in this next clip we look at the play from the perspective of the enemy goalkeeper. Notice how Pi drags the attention all the way to the right side, allowing me to completely disappear from the goalkeeper's line of sight. My teammate then quickly sends a fast pass above the box where I just need to downslash it into the net. Okay, lastly I just want to quickly talk about some pros and cons of each playstyle. The cherry picker playstyle forces the enemy team to play more defensively, especially if your forward manages to put good pressure on the net, which can also snowball the whole game, leading your team into more ball possession in the midfield and makes defending easier. On the other hand, if your forward is not able to score 1v1 situations, or if your defense is struggling to take control over the ball, you can find yourself constantly under pressure, which leads you into less opportunities to make your own offense work. The rotational playstyle can be hard to play against, especially if your team is spacing and positioning well. It's hard to read plays since with a 2-man offense you have more possibilities of scoring, and it also allows more room for combo plays. This playstyle leaves more room for mistakes and overcommitment, and it's only as good as the whole team. So communication is very important here. So you might ask yourself now, which playstyle should you choose? It highly depends on what character you want to play and what your teammates are picking. For example, if you're a Kenny main, you might want to go for the cherry pick playstyle since you can play better in the strengths of the character. But at the end it all depends on your personal preference on how you want to play. You can even switch up the playstyle mid-game if you have the feeling you need to adapt to your opponents. Alright, that's about it. I hope you could get some valuable insights on positioning and playstyles. Let me know what you want to see next in the comments. Give the video a like if you found it useful and click here for more Buckyball content. As always, see you in the next video and don't forget, what a good game, bye.